today we answer the question of the top meat-producing rabbits available to us in our market. And so it is a critical question. This question has come up over and over again, especially for startup farmers. So join us as we explore this topic today. Ace Rabbit Farm, Velvet Tamarine. Yeah. Okay. Look at these animals. They are very active. Hi everyone. So you are once again welcome to Ace Rabbit Farm. Today we are talking about the top 5 or maybe even the top 6, rabbit breeds for meat production. At least here at Ace Farm, what we are doing, we are considering the top 5 or top 6 meat rabbits. And so do not stress if your type or your like of breed is not on the list. However, based on our research and based on our own farm experiences, we are bringing you this information on the top 5 or top 6 very best animal. Please watch to the end because we do have some 2 bonus materials that we're going to be discussing. Okay, so yeah, I believe it is a relevant topic and indeed another timeless content that we are trying to bring to you today. So let us get a few myths out of the way as we dive into this topic. Okay, now all rabbits, regardless, all rabbits in our context will eventually become meat. Okay, so there is really nothing like a good meat rabbit or a bad meat rabbit. There is nothing like that, because at the end of the day, it is going to become meat. However, we have to really go back and ask certain key questions. For example, what is the purpose of the farm? Why are you really farming? And are you doing it on a commercial basis? Because if you're doing it on a commercial basis, that means your equation of profitability must always apply. And what that means is your input into your farm, the value of your input into the farm must always be less than the value of the output. In other words, your output must be higher than your input. That is the only way you're going to make some money and some profit. Okay. So what is the quality of the protein that you are producing? What is the quantity of the protein that you are producing per the same space, per the same labor, per the same feed? What is the time that it is going to take you to go to maturity into the market? So these are some of the questions. What is the dress out size when you dress your animal? When you bush burn it or when you dress it, what is the size, the final size of the animal? I think these are some of the key questions that we need to start asking ourselves. Then eventually, how presentable is your final product? The visuals. People see large animal and then they are excited. So how presentable is your animal once it is prepared as a meat for sale? Okay, so here at Ace Farm, it is all about creating educative content to support our viewer communities. And if this particular content is what you are looking for, kindly go ahead, like it, share with your farming communities, with your friends, and do us a favor and also subscribe so that we can grow our community of viewers. Yeah, that will help motivate the team for us to keep bringing you more and more content which we believe are relevant for what we are trying to do. So let's dive straight into it. So now that we've got into this topic, let us see what comes next. I said earlier on that rabbit will eventually become meat, right? All rabbits, regardless of what you do, will always become meat. And since our output must always be greater than our input, it basically means that profit, if your output is valuable, is more valuable than your input, it is a sign that we are making profit. Now, look, we all know that all modern day rabbits, they come from, Southern Europe, North Africa, Mediterranean space. I've said this over and over again. That is where the original breeds of all domesticated rabbit comes from, okay? At least that's what the research has confirmed for us. However, over the years, over hundreds of years, 200, from the 18th century, especially in France, Belgium, United Kingdom, these guys have specifically bred the animal for a particular purpose. So the number one purpose really is for meat. Other purposes will include the pelt or the fur to make yarns that is then used in making clothing, right? All of this, and maybe the fourth will also be the animal being used as a pet. So these are some of the reasons why the animals are being bred for. And these guys have been doing this over hundreds of years. So what this means is they've really perfected it. And today that is what we're going to be diving into. So for the purpose of this discussion, we are going to only be focusing on meat production, because that's basically what we do at Ace Farm. We produce meat, and that has been our key focus area. So we produce meat by all means. Number two, we produce breeders for other farmers. So what this means is that we are focusing on producing animals that will be used by other farmers to produce meat. So again, overall, it comes back to producing meat. Okay. Now, these breeder communities have perfected the art over a number of years through selective or genetic manipulation, so that they enhance the qualities that they are looking for in their animals. So if it is meat, they are looking for high quality meat. They are looking for high meat to bone ratio. They are looking for fast growing animals. They are looking for, animals that will give them large litters, and so forth. So all of these elements will lead you into profitability. And I think that's what they are looking for. So considering those parameters that I've just listed right now, we know, based on the history and based on us following in the footsteps of what these old breeders have done, the New Zealand stands out when it comes to, meat to bone ratio, when it comes to time to maturity, when it comes to litter sizes, when it comes to basically everything around commercial rabbit. We know the New Zealand. And that has become the focal point for Ace Rabbit Farm. So we do have the New Zealand white, we do have the New Zealand red, and we are in the process of acquiring the New Zealand black. So the New Zealand goes by not saying, it is just on top of the list when it comes to the best breed. Its size is appealing. The various portion of the meat is also very, very attractive. In addition to this, is the Californian. The Californian is the second, if not. Now, maybe let me take a step back and talk about why the New Zealand white. Okay. It is historical, because the white gave them meat by all means, and at the same time, the skin or the pelt is white, and therefore it is easy to color into any other color, right? So I think they gravitated towards the white purely because the fur could easily be, dyed into any other color that you're looking for. So if your animal comes in white, you can easily change the color to any fur that you're looking for your garment. And so the white has dominated. But we know that the red, the black are all equally as good. Okay. And honestly, that is one of the reasons why we also have the Californian white. You can see it is only the ears, the nose, and the paws and the tail that are black. So when you're looking for the pelt, really, you don't go to the ears looking for pelt. You look for the skin, and all of that is pure white. So you can see that's the reason why the Californian, which is white, at the same time the New Zealand white, are very, very popular, just because they become a dual purpose animal for meat and also for the pelt. Okay. The second in line is your Californian for these reasons. Okay. Good meat to bone ratio, fast growing, large litter sizes, fairly good temperament, and fairly good motherly characteristics. That therefore allows them to become, top quality animals for the purpose that we are having here at Ace Rabbit Farm, because our number one purpose really is to produce meat. Okay. So honestly, between the New Zealand and the Cali, I'm only leaning towards the New Zealand because they are readily available. In all the market that we have been in, all the areas that we look at, the New Zealand breed is almost always readily available. And because of that, you will tend to lean to that. And honestly speaking, it serves the purpose. So I will not do otherwise. But having said all of that, the Californian is number 2 for us. Then in the list that we have, look, we've got a cinnamon, we've got a palomino. That is another great animal, purely because of all the characteristics of a New Zealand. In addition, it's got a color that really, or the coat, that is really appealing to the African market, because they prefer their animals to have this kind of agouti or bush-ish color, brownish or reddish color, looking like a wild animal. Okay. The Dutch is another very popular breed. The chinchillas, and as my list goes down to the Florida white, the Tamuk, or they call it the Tamuk, I'm going to do a whole video about this, because we do have a very great partner who is trying to bring us the Tamuk breed so that we can use that, because it's suitable for the African condition or for a warmer climate condition. Okay, the checkered giant. Then we come down to the Flemish giant, So having said all of this, if your rabbit does not make it to our list, it does not mean that it is a bad meat producer, okay? I do not know about it, or I may not know about it. And for the purpose of this content, remember, we are only giving you what we have at Ace Rabbit Farm. We are only presenting based on our own experiences, and the benefit that we have derived is what we want to share with our farming communities. So having said all of this, I might just want to give you 2 or 3 good bonus material, okay? Look, the giant breeds are, the giant rabbit breeds are very, very attractive to look at. These things are massive. But we have to start asking questions. We go back to the profitability. We spoke about time to maturity. The giants don't have it. We spoke about feed conversion ratio. The giants don't have it. Okay. We spoke about large litters. We spoke about to be at least able to produce 4 to 5 times in a year. The giants may not have that. Okay. Because they take long to mature and so forth and so on. And honestly speaking, I think the hatches that we have also built may not be suitable for a giant, because once it's too heavy, I mean, imagine if you have a litter box in that same hatch, you have the giant in the hatch, you have the feeding bowls in the hatch, and then you have 4 or 5 kids that come out into the cage. So immediately the bottom of the cage starts becoming too heavy. By all means, if you are doing the colony system and so forth and so on, all that falls away, and therefore your giant might be the way to go. Again, just to repeat, all rabbit will eventually become meat. Okay, all rabbits will eventually become meat, and therefore there is nothing like a good meat rabbit or a bad meat rabbit. However, if you really want to go commercial, and then you must just realize that you are intending to make profit, and if you're intending to make profit, it means your input components must be efficient. I'm talking about feed, time, labor, and the number of production per year has to be efficient. If that has to be efficient, then you are looking for an animal that will help you to become efficient. And we don't believe that the giant is such an animal. Any of the giant really is such an animal. Look, I will go as far as the checkered giant, but when it comes to the Flemish, I'm not a fan of it, just because it does not help me to become efficient and profitable. Okay, so that is one of the bonus material that I wanted to add to it. The second bonus material really is about this breed that they call the Hylax, okay, or the Hyla Max, or the Hyla NG. Okay, this is a French genetically produced rabbit, and I think it takes its origin again from the New Zealand and also from the Californian. So again, can you see it's gone all around and come back to the New Zealand and the Californian. So it's a product of that. Honestly speaking, at the time of doing this video, I could not gather sufficient information to speak about the Hyla breeds, which is, I know, is produced, well, they call it the broiler rabbit, and it is produced in France, okay? And apparently we do have them in Benin and also in Nigeria. Other than that, they are broiler. So I'm wondering If it's a broiler, it means obviously it's quick to go to market and so forth and so on. But at the end of the day, will the first generations of these broilers be able to give you a similar product as the parent breeds? So these are just questions that we need to answer or seek out for information. Or if you are a higher breeder or farmer, please send your comment by all means and let us study how we can start investigating and using some of these breeds in our environment. Okay. All right. That is taking me to a pendula. Oh my word.
Pendula.
Yeah.
Doe.
Adult.
6.4 kilos.
6.4 kilos, guys.
This is her daughter.
Oh wow, and that's the daughter.
7.5 months. 5.4 kilos.
Wow. I think eventually we're going to be settling on the pendulas because I think they were bred for the African condition as well, isn't it? Yeah. Wow, amazing stuff. Thank you very much. I guess that is what I wanted to say today, that we are settling on any of the New Zealand breeds, white, red, black. We are settling on the Californian. We are going to start producing hybrids with the cinnamons, with the palominos, with the Dutch, with the chinchillas, and so forth and so on, purely because of availability in our areas. Okay, so if I did not list any of your favorite animals on this show, please forgive me. However, send me their names in their comments, and in our next upload we will do well to investigate and add more value to your viewership. Okay, without much I said, keep farming.